Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. My name is Kristen, and today I thought we could sit down and talk about my financial goals for 2020. So, I don't typically set New Year's resolutions. That's not really my style. When I was younger, I would do them, and I never completed them. Who does? But sometimes I do like to set a goal for myself, and maybe you would consider that to be a resolution, but really I think it's something that is more attainable and achievable typically, versus your normal I'm gonna lose a bunch of weight and do A, B, C, and D. I don't set a ton of resolutions and things like that. So this year I really want to focus on getting a lot of my debt paid off. I have two credit cards that I would like to get paid off. I've got a $400 balance on one of them and about a $250 balance on the other. My husband has two credit cards. He has three, two of which I would like to get paid off this year. One we actually already paid off, so that felt pretty good. It was a small amount, it was like 80 something dollars, but it still felt good to get that one paid off. And then we have another one that we took out for getting our refrigerator, and we have another, I think, $600 we owe on that. So in total, that is there's about $1,200 there in credit card debt that I would like to get paid off this year. And then on top of that, we have two loans. We have one that is a personal loan that I think we owe about $4,000 on right now, and then we have another loan that is for my husband's car, and it's about $6,000. So I would like to get the personal loan paid off. Now, the way that I hope we can do this is going to be with our tax return money, which I know not everybody gets a tax return or a decent sized one. We never did until we had children, but now we get I'm expecting we'll get about $4,000 back roughly. So hopefully that'll be just enough to pay off that loan and get rid of it. Once that's gone, I want to refinance his car loan for a personal loan. That way we just have the title for the car, and that way the loan is here locally at our bank and not out of another town. So I think that the payment on that will probably go up, but it'll be nice to have the title for the vehicle. So those are my financial goals for this year. This is my plan on how I'm going to get through it, get it paid off. Just pretty much any extra money. Sorry, I fidget. I found one of my son's toys. Pretty much any extra money that I come into, I just want to throw on debt. And I already started off doing that the beginning of this year, where I think this is January 14th right now. And like I said, got my husband's small credit card paid off, and I've paid off half of one of my credit cards. I had $400 on both, and I've since paid like $250 on one of them, which now I owe about $200, probably about $200 left on that one. So that feels pretty good. I mean, that's like $300 worth of debt paid off so far. So I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm not sure I'll be able to make any more large payments the rest of this month, just because we have life. We've got birthdays to pay for. We've got several nephews and a cousin who they're all children, and they're all having birthdays, and we want to be able to get them birthday gifts. And then Monster Trucks is coming to my state in February, and we want to get our son monster truck tickets. He's 3 and we really think he'll enjoy it. So there's some other things that we're currently kind of working on saving up for and paying for, so any of our extra money is kind of going on those currently. But in February, once we get all of this other stuff taken care of, I want to get right back on to paying off debt. So how I plan on doing this, like I said, is any extra money I come into going on debt. And the extra money that I tend to get is from plasma donations, which I make $70 a week doing plasma. And then I also do dog grooming on the side. I am a trained dog groomer. I no longer work in shops or anything, but I have a small client base out of my house. So any money I make from that is going straight to my extra debt, which I don't groom a whole lot. maybe a couple dogs a month at best. Like I said, very small client base. It's just for family and friends. I don't like a bunch of strangers coming in and out of my house. So I don't make a lot of money that way, just a little bit. I really just do it so that, one, it's a favor to friends and family, but also it like keeps my skills. So if I ever want to go back to a grooming salon, I'm able to. Anyway, that's one way I make a little extra money. And then I also sell stuff on Facebook. Anytime I have things that I'm just done with, want to get rid of it, I'll list it on Facebook. I'm not gonna make a ton of money, 5, 10, maybe 20 bucks that way, but I'm throwing it on my debt. And then I also do YouTube. So one other person I forgot that I mentioned that I have to pay off this month is my dad. We had to borrow $400 from him to pay a bill back in December. So I do YouTube. I do make a nice little chunk of change on YouTube. I happen to make $479 for the month of December. How YouTube works is that it pays you out once a month, and it's like what you make. So like what I made in December will be my payout for January. What I make for January will be paid out for February. Does that make sense? And you only get paid once a month. So when that YouTube check hits, I'm gonna take out a chunk for taxes because YouTube works like a business. So I gotta set aside some for taxes, and then the rest of it I'm giving to my dad to pay him back for helping us out with the bill that we had back in December. So by the end of January, we'll have had one credit card fully paid off, my dad fully paid back, and then half of another credit card paid off, which is pretty awesome. And that's pretty good. So I'm excited to see how everything turns out. It would be fantastic if we could have absolutely everything paid off by June. We'll see if that happens. But I do plan on doing like a monthly update on this. So if you guys want to make this a goal for yourself as well, to work on paying off debts this year, that would be awesome. We can do it together. We can keep each other motivated in the comment section. I see these videos posted by other YouTubers who are much bigger. Sarah Ray Vargas is one that comes to mind. I love watching her, and she's done a few videos about how she got out of debt. And as awesome as that is for her, and as much as I do find it inspiring, I also don't think it's very realistic for most people. And she also states that it's not realistic for most people. Most people don't make the kind of money that she makes. She has lots of different income streams, and she's a very big YouTuber, and she makes quite a bit of money. So I thought I would do my take on that video, which I think is going to be a lot more realistic for the everyday person. I don't think it is that out of the ordinary to say that somebody could pick up a side hustle and maybe make an extra $400 a month. Yes, it's extra work, but I mean, that's what I'm doing right now, right? Everybody else is in bed and I'm right here filming, and then I'm going to be editing while everybody else is sleeping in my house. I mean, it's extra work. And then when I'm grooming dogs in my basement, extra work, couple hours out of my day where I'm legitimately working. So maybe try doing Uber or Uber Eats or Instacart, picking up some kind of an extra income. Is there a service that you can provide? I know winter is here. Maybe you can pick up some extra income by maybe shoveling snow for people, or, you know, the spring, summer mowing people's yards, or what have you. Do you have a skill that you have? Is there something you can provide other people, even if it's not like a super consistent thing? Like I said, with my dog grooming, I do a handful of dogs a month at best. So it's not something that I'm getting paid for every day or, you know, once a week. It's here and there, but it adds up. And so, like I said, what I'm doing whenever I get extra of anything is I'm putting it right to my debt, which is how I think maybe you guys should try doing as well. I don't know. I love David Ramsey's theory of paying off a debt first and then having the snowball effect where you continue to take more money and put it towards other things. So that's what I'm planning to do. Got the small credit card paid off first. Now we're gonna tackle my now smallest credit card, which is $200, and then from there go to the $400 one and just keep shoving money at these things until they're paid off, and really putting a big focus on one card in particular at a time, or one debt at a time. So that means you're still making the minimum payments on others, but really tackling one individually. I know other people will say you should do your biggest debt or the debt with the highest interest rate first. That makes sense, but I also feel like in my particular circumstance, being a very middle class person, you know, anything I can tick off and get rid of is awesome. So the faster I can tick things off, the better. And yes, I would definitely save money if I paid off something with the highest interest rate first. I totally understand that. But if I've got all these other little payments going on, I may not have the extra money to shove on bigger things. Does that make sense? So if I start taking off these smaller things, their regular payments, the 15, the 25, the 30, they rack up to being like, okay, now I've got all those paid off, so I've got an extra, what is that, like $75, $100, whatever. This is all hypothetical money, but now I've got this extra chunk of change, I can start shoving on the bigger things. So that's kind of my way of thinking about it, which again is what David Ramsey talks about. So that's kind of the method I'm using. But I also know that a lot of people will say that you need to have an emergency fund set up before you even start making payments on your debt and really trying to tackle it. And I get that, and maybe that works for some people, but I spent a big chunk of last year just trying to save up money because I knew I was going to be having a baby and I was gonna have a bunch of hospital bills, and I saved up like $1,000, and we used that money for what it was meant for, and it was gone. And I mean, as nice as it was to have that cushion, I just don't think having $1,000 sitting around in my pocket while I still owe thousands of dollars on debt is really, do you guys get what I'm saying? So my thoughts on it are, get the credit cards paid off, and if something astronomical happens, we can put it back on the cards, which isn't ideal. The ideal is to get everything paid off and then start saving up money for an emergency fund. But I think right now I just really want to focus on getting out of debt before I start focusing on making some kind of an emergency fund. So, like I said, any extra income I have, I'm throwing on bills. So that is my goals for 2020, my financial goals, the way I'm planning to go about doing it. Let me know if you guys want to take on this challenge with me and try to pay off some of your debts as well. I do have more debts than that, but I think realistically in 1 year paying off about $4,000 is more realistic than actually be what, 5 or 6,000. Anyways, I think it's more realistic for me to be able to tackle that amount, and keep in mind a big chunk of it's coming out of my tax return, than it is for me to say that I want to get completely out of debt and pay off the $75,000 that I owe. Like, that's just not, I just don't think that's realistic for my personal situation. But if I could relieve myself of $5,000, $6,000 in a year, that would be fantastic. So I will definitely be updating you guys at the end of February, giving you a full recap of January and February. So keep an eye out for that video if it's something that you're interested in following. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you think you'll do this as well, and I hope to catch you in my next video.